Welcome to the VIP Experience podcast. We are beginning with the Empathy series, a weekly conversation about mental health and personal development. I am your host, Vipin Farkia. For today's conversation, we have with us Dr. Avinash D'Souza, who is a practicing psychiatrist in Santa Cruz, Mumbai. In today's episode, we'll be talking about new age addictions, smartphone, internet, and streaming. Hi, sir. So let's talk about addiction of smartphones. So basically, let's talk about gaming first. How gaming has affected or is affecting children right now, and since games like PUBG have come and they've become way too interactive, and how much time do generally people spend? Do you have any sort of data on that?
See, we get a number of children who probably spend on an average, if you ask me, anywhere between 2 to 6 to 8 hours a day
Oh.
gaming. Now, these would be different kinds of games.
Hmm.
So, one is we have the console gaming,
Hmm.
which is the PlayStation kind of games and the Xbox kind of games.
Yeah.
And then you have online gaming. So, online would be things like PUBG and Clash of Clans and other things. So, very
Yeah.
often, so both are seen.
Hmm.
And very frankly, this has come up more because of the availability of online services, which are
Yeah.
very easily available, and more so the competitiveness that these games bring to it.
Hmm.
The fact that there's this entire gaming community and there's this need to be ahead in the game compared
Yeah.
to others,
Yeah.
and more so children and adolescents somehow take a liking for games which are aggressive
Yeah.
because they feel that there is a certain amount of energy release that does happen.
Hmm.
So the tendency to get attracted to these games is there. It's very common.
Hmm.
I would say probably if we look at maybe 100 children,
Yeah.
I would say at least 10 to 15 at least have a problem with gaming,
Yeah.
and probably 90 play games,
Yeah.
but 10 to 15 definitely have a major problem.
Hmm. So what do you describe like a problem in gaming?
Yes, so we refer to that as what we call video game addiction.
Hmm.
And in video game addiction, what happens is that the child or the adolescent wants to be gaming the whole time.
Hmm.
So a lot of his day is spent gaming. So
Hmm.
5, 6, 8, 9 hours.
Yeah.
It leads to academic decline because he doesn't study.
Definitely.
It leads to aggression.
Hmm.
It leads to behavioral issues, not listening to the parents, conduct problems. Apart from that, back answering, rude behavior, abusiveness,
Yeah.
more aggressiveness when he loses
Hmm.
or is unable to clear a level.
Yeah.
Keeping awake the whole night to play, so sleep gets affected.
Yeah.
In turn, physical health gets affected. Bunking school to play. So all that comes under video game addiction.
Yeah. So, like, it's different. I think you can classify it as different than smartphone addiction, right? Like, people are not addicted to it just because it's on a smartphone. As you talked about console, so anywhere the game is there.
Yes.
That-
So the gaming addiction is purely gaming.
Hmm.
Whereas if you ask me, smartphone addiction is of a different kind because gaming addiction is one aspect of smartphone addiction.
Hmm.
Apart from that, we also have what we refer to as online shopping addiction.
Hmm.
Then we have people who have to constantly be on social media, so social media addiction.
Hmm.
You have pornography addiction.
Hmm.
You have the constant need to surf online. So multiple things are there on the smartphone and then you have, of course, people who are addicted to series on Netflix and multiple other channels which are available.
Yeah. So let's break it down now. Let's talk about surfing on the internet, like just taking out your phone. For example, like I'm in college, I have like 4 hours of college, and I rarely give any attention to the lectures. So I don't have anything much to do, and phone is a small thing that can fit, and teachers won't be able to catch me. So that's something I am using that constantly for 4 hours. So can that be classified as an addiction?
No, an addiction comes in when you're not able to give up the habit.
Hmm.
So I may be on a phone for 4 hours, but the moment you tell me, come on, we have to go here, meet someone, do this, I'm ready to come.
Yeah.
I'm ready to switch off.
Hmm.
The inability to switch off is what leads to calling it an addiction.
Yeah. Like addiction is something that is stopping you or being
Yes.
an obstacle between your daily life
Or
processes.
tomorrow, if I tell you, can you remain without your phone?
Hmm.
If you say yes, fine, then you're not addicted.
Hmm.
But if you say no, then that means, you may need your phone for communication, that's fine. But if you say no, I have to have the internet and I have to have the Wi-Fi and I can't survive without it,
Yeah.
then you're going into an addiction zone.
Okay. So, like the way you described it, I think all of my friends and people I know are, I think, addicted because it's very difficult for them to give up phones or even social media. So, what are the steps that we can take at least? It might not be addiction as you described. It's not stopping them, but definitely they can't give up their phones. So, what are a little small steps that they can help them?
See, one of the things we always tell people is that be online off and on. So don't be online the whole time because then every beep, everything you want to go and check. So the tendency is be online sparingly. So keep your Wi-Fi on, then put it off, keep it on, put it off. So that's one. Secondly, a digital detox where you have a few hours where you're without a phone. If people call you, of course, you can probably speak, but
Yeah.
you would not be seeing your phone for messages and other things.
Okay.
So that is one way out.
Okay.
Totally being digital free, 24 hours is something that you could do. You could inform a few close people where to find you, but beyond that, you could be totally free. Or you could have a friend who's with you and say, okay, they could call on his phone if they need you, but you not be touching your phone.
Yeah.
So that digital detox is something that can be done, and more people are going into it today.
Oh, you've seen that?
Yes, that does happen, because when this addiction whole scenario comes in, one of the treatment methods is a digital detox.
Yeah.
And that's what
Definitely.
we sort of advise to parents, children, everyone.
So there are these apps even as well now that lets you lock your phone for some hours and you can't touch it. So have you seen something work like that?
But I think finally we put the app, so we know how
Yeah.
to unlock it. So I don't think
Exactly.
it would really work. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's come back to the PUBG thing, and I think this is something that we discussed with Dr. Cecilia as well, and effective parenting techniques, where how to stop your child from doing those things. But we never discussed in terms of like you said the competitive aspect of it. Like you have in half an hour game, and you have to come first and take that chicken dinner, whatever is there, and that is something that is affecting a lot of kids. As you said, that they want to release their extra energy, adolescence, into the game. So how do you really stop? How do you stop that addiction kind of thing, or how do you like there are treatments, of course, if you're actually addicted to it, but how do you stop it like before it's converting into addiction?
See, I feel the moment you find that the child is getting too hooked onto the game, there has to be a period where he's off it. Also, you have to restrict hours of use.
Yeah.
Even if it means that you're going to be a little tough on the child, you'll have to.
Okay.
Maybe internet access will have to be reduced. Maybe
Okay.
his usage of the phone will have to be reduced. But something will have to be done to prevent access to the game. So that's one way out. That's the only way out, rather.
Yeah. So in terms of like the solutions that I have seen is like one, you give them like your phone as a reward. Like you complete your homework, you complete your study, then you get to play the game. So does that work really, or is it becoming?
I feel it doesn't really work. The thing is, you have to have digital free hours and digital on hours.
Okay.
I think that's a better way to do it, rather than using the phone as a reinforcement.
Okay. So let's talk about now internet in general. Like it is of course helped us as a society to improve and everything. And after Geo came in 2016, or I think somewhere around that, there was just this rush of people coming online. So how do you think it has affected? Let's talk about the rural areas or areas where there was no internet connection.
I think a lot of people have begun to use the internet. That's a good thing. They are digitally connected.
Yeah.
But also what has happened is they've had access to a lot of information and access to a lot of things which make them addictive. Rural surveys haven't been done much in India, so we don't have data on them.
Okay.
But if you ask me, it's definitely, I would say, a 60-70% rise in rural internet use has happened post-Geo.
So let's talk about streaming now. So everyone is coming up with their own streaming platform now. There's just so much content. There's so much free content on YouTube and other platforms, and there's just so much paid content, and like, everyone is kind of rushing towards watching these shows. There's this hype on the internet always, and there's this thing called FOMO, fear of missing out, and people are really afraid of missing out on shows, and there's this like infinite content, and it's impossible to catch on it. So how do you think this streaming and binge watching is affecting our productivity, or
I think a lot of time is wasted, because you want to see the show, all the 8 episodes, so many hours are wasted.
Yeah.
Apart from that, there are new shows, so there is a new addiction that always comes the whole time. Beyond which, also what happens is that there's a lot of problem, particularly that there's a need to see it before others. So there's always this tendency that, okay, tonight I'm going to keep awake the whole night and finish the series.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. I think it's there for all the channels, so I don't think we could point out any one.
Yeah, like as you said, like there's this competition of being not getting spoilers of things these things.
Yeah.
So, like, as far as I know, how does someone become more aware to what kind of content should they watch? There's just so much content around. People need to watch to get
See, I
entertained.
think you need to have content which is pleasant. You need to have content that makes you happy. You need to have content that doesn't cause you more stress. I think that's the key thing. So content that makes you happy is worth watching. Content that distresses you is not worth watching.
Okay. There's so many new series coming up. There's this show like the reality of more real series. There's just so much violence. Like especially I've seen currently almost all of these streaming platforms coming up with, sexually explicit content, and there's this ungodly amount of violence. Like you can't even. It's not just even guns. It's blood and intestines
Right.
everywhere.
Right.
So how is it affecting? And there's no one thing is that there is no barrier to who can watch it. There might
So
be
I
kids
think
who are
one is
watching
that
this.
there's a lot of language which is foul language which is used. Apart from that, I think there's sexual content. After that, there's aggressive content. There's blood. There's murder. So I think what happens is if children below a certain age watch it, they're bound to get exposed to content they shouldn't,
Yeah.
and that can affect their mind. So there should be some form of censorship that can be used as to who accesses,
Yeah.
because invariably, though they have an age limit put on the show, you would have people even younger than that access the show.
Definitely, because nobody's actually watching who's
Yeah.
accessing their show. So like I want to talk about more in terms of like as you said about PUBG competitions and all. So people are actually trying, making money out of it, and they are actually learning. I can't say learning, but going into the esports world, which was pretty, disconnected because in India, mostly because it was mostly PC gaming. Because people are earning money with gaming since a long time, like more than 5 to 10 years now, because of the internet. So, how does that fit in with the culture of not using your phone?
Well, I think people who are into professional gaming are very different.
Yeah.
So they can switch on and switch off when they need to.
Yeah, that is, I think, one of the most important things because they know when to stop.
Yes, they know when to stop.
They're trying to make
Yes,
sure that
unlike people who are hooked onto it forever.
yeah, they want to do physical activities. They make sure that they do between the games, and they don't
Right.
forget to eat.
Right.
Or they're
right.
taking care of themselves,
Yes,
and people
yes.
are constantly just watching them, thinking that I'll become this,
Yes.
but they are not following the rules.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much for the conversation.
Sure. Thank you.
Before we conclude the podcast, I hope you guys loved listening to it and you share it with your friends and family. Though it's a mental health advocacy podcast, it's not a substitute to any mental health professional. So, if any of your friends or any of you listening to it are suffering from some kind of mental health problems, I hope you guys reach out for help. All the information to contact me is available in the descriptions in YouTube channel as well as different podcast platforms. And I hope I can get you in touch with a good professional. And don't forget to leave comments on YouTube about the podcast and how can we improve more. Thank you so much. Bye bye.